The final layer, if you like, in terms of the production was then putting the voice of the person who's reading the Bible over the top. And what I was looking for was a voice that would bring something to the production, but also a voice that technically has a big range in it, so that it's got something that we can work with in terms of mixing.
Her spirit returned, and at once she stood up.
Working with some of the actors who we've recorded these with has been amazing. They're all brilliant in their own right. It was a case of letting the words, do the talking. It sounds like a silly thing to say, but there was no need to push it too much, and they all got that instantly.
With the Gospel of John, we did 2 English versions. One is the King James version and one is the New International Version. The New International Version was read by David Harewood, and the King James Version was read by Brian Cox.
Given the fact that that my chosen profession was being an actor, and then coming to work in Shakespeare and the richness of language. So coming to the King James text is it's a match of imagery and words. So the language and the original King James really does attempt to kind of recreate that much more faithfully, instinctively, I feel, than a modern day text.
His, in a sense, is a much harder technical read because he was reading the King James, which is an archaic language. But again, his Shakespearean training and having played all those extraordinary Shakespeare plays, the King James Version is a bit like that. And he he did a fantastic read, really passionate, from the heart read.
Whither I go, ye cannot come. So now I say to you, a new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another.
The Lumo project has a massive international aspect to it, where you can reversion it into many different languages and deliver that around the world.
So we've recorded multiple languages. Each country has basically picked their most popular version and the most popular translation.
Y como insistieran en preguntarle, und sagte, wer von euch noch nie gesündigt hat, heittäköön ensimmäisen kiven.
One of the challenges of doing that is not knowing any foreign languages myself. It can be quite difficult to understand what's going on and piece that together. But one of the advantages of doing that is I don't know the language, so I'm focusing on every syllable and every word and making sure it's clearly audible throughout.
Some of the languages were a lot longer than the English, and so we get back to the problem of having to fit that. Once again, a bit of playing around with it, but they all worked fantastically well.
We might be able to turn it into a sort of spoken version. And what I mean by that is that where Jesus is speaking is that we can have different actors for Jesus, a different actor for Mary Magdalene, a different actor for John, and so create a sort of slightly different version like that. We can make a children's version. I mean, there's just hundreds of possibilities, and I think that's the exciting thing about it.